Alrighty guys, welcome to the show. We are here, of course, to talk about the WAL 402 matches that are on the cards. In this match, we're going to be focusing on Mike Selearis versus Frode Haugland of Norway. Mike Selearis, of course, pulling out of New York in the United States. Now, this for me will be a very interesting match, mainly for the reason of how creative Mike Selearis gets on the table. Mike Selearis is someone who will go anywhere. He refuses to lie down. He really doesn't like losing, and I respect that very much in Mike Selearis. Frode Haugland is someone who is very similar in the approach that he refuses to lose, but he refuses to lose in a much different manner to Mike. When Frode is in a position where he isn't able to pin, he will often dig his shoulder in, he will lose his wrist slightly, and that man will just stay committed and he will blow his elbow to Kingdom Come if need be. Where Mike Selearis is more inclined to drop to an ugly King's move, get some extra rotation, and do all sorts of crazy nonsense to try and avoid being pinned. So how will this match go, given that both of these two guys can delay a loss, or the inevitable loss that often happens with some very committed and sometimes ugly arm wrestling? Here's how I think it'll go. Mike Selearis is someone who gets in your mind. I don't know how well he can get in the mind of Frode Haugland. He is a very experienced arm wrestler, been doing it for a long time. Mike Selearis, he's got that, of course, that stare that will happen across the table. He loves the eye contact. And Mike Selearis is someone who uses that mental intimidation to get extra millimeters in the grip, get that extra leverage when it comes to the start. I think Mike Selearis will get the wrist back on Frode Haugland, but Frode Haugland won't be too stressed out from that. Frode Haugland won't really move off center of table when Mike takes his wrist, and I think Frode Haugland will drive from there, and we will see Mike Selearis pretty quickly. I would say as far as opening round, Mike Selearis will end up in some degree of open arm situation. I don't think it'll be a full-blown King's move, but there will be a lot of very open top rolling going on from Mike Selearis. I think that Mike Selearis will delay that first round, and we will end up seeing a flop press victory from Frode Haugland in that first round. Now, what happens from there? Can Mike Selearis, he's the kind of guy that I think could work out a way to win. I think Frode is quite one-dimensional when it comes to his style. He wants to get into a hook. If he doesn't, he'll let his wrist go and he'll just drive with side pressure, keeping his shoulder tight and his pec engaged. However, because of that one-dimensional factor that Frode has, it gives someone like Mike Selearis the chance to really exploit what it is he does. Mike will go searching. Mike will experiment. He'll change his positions. He'll restart matches. He'll get just before the go, and then he'll say, no, that didn't work. He'll feel different angles, and he will look. Mike Selearis is incredibly talented when it comes to that. I think I give him a lot of credit for the way he is able to feel and deconstruct an opponent. So for me, round one goes to Frode Haugland without a doubt. I think Mike Selearis, even if he takes his wrist, Frode Haugland will get the job done. Round two, I expect Mike to really go to work with his game. I expect Mike's mental approach to really be ramped up. The sweat will be pouring out of his head by this time, and the intensity will be there that we know Mike can bring. When Mike gets to this level, I think that he will find an angle that makes the next round even more of a war than the first round. Will it be enough that Mike gets the win? I don't know. Probably not. I think Frode, relentless Haugland, will manage to dig out a victory, even if it looks pretty bad. Even if his hand is down on the losing side of the arm wrestle, I believe Frode Haugland will dig his way out. Third round. Now's the only time that I see Mike Selearis getting a win. But, you know, if Mike Selearis gets a win in this third round, what I see happening is the fact that Mike Selearis will get creative, he will find an angle, and he will get a pin. But Mike Selearis, after this point, will be cactus. I don't think that Mike Selearis has the endurance in that creative open arm, King's moving arm wrestling style that Frode Haugland has in his style. I think Frode Haugland can ultimately withstand the position and the endurance a lot longer than Mike Selearis can. So I am going to predict that it will either be a 3-0 victory to Frode Haugland or a 3-1 victory with Mike Selearis taking the third round before Frode Haugland closing it out in the fourth. You've heard it here on the Pound for Pound podcast. I hope you enjoy the 402. I can't wait for it. All right. See you guys.